Welcome to the Grumpy Old Guy Wood Carving Studio. If this is your first time here, my name is Harry. But we're getting close. We're really getting close. In this video, we're going to talk about how to set the pins, how to assemble them, how to get all the movement, the different things that we use to do that. The head's on, the arms are on the shoulders, legs, the feet. In this video, we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to speed up the video and just do a voiceover. And it's pretty self-explanatory what I'm doing, but I'll give you a little bit of explanation how I make the pins, how I set them, and all that. So if you're ready, let's get started. Time to start setting the permanent joints. Up to this point, I was using just little pieces of wire to temporarily hold things in place. Like the shoulder, I was using a peg. I'll use a leather thong or a piece of shoelace. But I bought a roll of wire from the local box store. And you can also use paper clips. All you do is just measure it out the length, curve the end over so that it forms a hook. You put the long straight piece in between the two joints and then hammer the hook into the side of the wood. I prefer to set it on the inside, like on the arm, the inside up against the body would be that hook. That way you have less chance of grabbing strings if they're mounted on the outside. So you can see there's a lot of guesswork with this. Sometimes you measure it correctly, and other times you just have to start over and remeasure it, cut it, bend it again. I used to make jewelry and work with a lot of wire. That's where I've got these special tools. You can get those from jewelry supply stores. I was having a hard time with that hand. The piece of wire was so small, and the eyelet on the screw eyelet was too small, and my eyes aren't the best. I have to wear, you can see my magnifying glasses sitting on the bench there. This wire is pretty thick, so I might either take a little file and make a point on that curved part that goes into the wood so it hammers in easier, or just use something thinner like paper clips. But still have to sharpen the edge so that it drives into the wood. It just occurred to me that I should have been wearing those magnifying glasses instead of pointing them out laying on the bench. See, I still have difficulty driving that pin into the wood. So yeah, definitely next time I need to sharpen that point with a microfile. And I tried using that ball peen hammer, and that really wasn't working. It had a little more heft than the other hammer, but I think I switched back to the other hammer because it's got a broader head on it. And we've got the elbow and the wrist joint completed on that, and we'll probably move over to the other arm now. I mentioned earlier that I wanted to put the pins on the inside next to the body, and there I messed up and put one on the outside, but that's okay. We'll let it go this time. Next, I want to explain how I did the neck. That neck is just a plug that sits down. I can pull that out if I want to. I fed a shoestring up through and glued it into the head, and the knot is underneath the neck plug, and I can tighten that up when that string stretches out. Now, taking off the legs, you can see that the hip joint is basically just held in with a screw. The hole through the leg itself is a little bit larger than the screw, so that it moves quickly or moves easily on the on the screw, and then the screw, you just screw it in until it's almost tight but still loose enough for the leg to move. And then I'll set the knee and the ankle joint the same way I did the arm joints. See again a little bit better. I've got the hole countersunk for the screw so that the screw head sits down inside, and then it all just screws into that center section there. You can see adjusting that for too tight, loosen it up a bit, and then the same thing with the other way. I'm going to set the arms into the shoulders now. I had originally planned on using a shoestring, which was thicker, so I drilled the hole in the arm a little bit bigger than the shoulder, because the shoulder was going to have that end lace piece, and you didn't. The other part, after you cut it, of course, flares out. So I decided to go with the lace, leather lace, and because that hole there in the arm is a little bit bigger, I used 2 little pieces of leather and glued them in. And I'm going to measure some distance for the leather thong to go into the shoulder. The hole was pretty deep, so I left a little extra, and it was a little too long, so I decided to shorten it up. And that's just, from there you just take, put some glue on the leather, shove it into the hole, and then use your pliers to help move it into the hole a little bit deeper. And that'll give you a wider range of movement than using just the tongue and groove. Because the shoulder is kind of a ball, if you think of a ball socket. And this way, his arms will move out and up and in different directions. And I'll just do the same thing with the other side. 2 little pieces because that hole is larger. That way it doesn't loosen up easier. And as we're watching that process, I've already started planning my next marionette. It's going to be a Santa Claus. I've got the drawing already done. Now I have to just transfer it to the wood, cut the wood out. I learned a lot from doing this little guy, and I'm going to improve his joints on the next marionette. And, maybe speed up the process a little bit. And I think if y'all like watching it in a sped up motion like this, instead of falling asleep to 15 minutes of me talking about making a marionette, then we'll do that with the next one. And there he is. He's all put together. Just have to let the glue dry. And the next thing will be making the controller, and I'll string him up. That'll be the next video. Thanks again for coming by the Grumpy Old Guy Wood Carving Studio. Now get off my lawn.